Good evening, everybody. Across New South Wales, we still have 73 fires burning across New South Wales, 29 of which remain uncontained. We have 2 fires now downgraded to the emergency warning status, that being the fire near Springwood, Winmalee and Falconbridge, where fire activity continues to be quite active and the alerts have been issued accordingly. We still have the Gateshead fire near Newcastle that's burning down through near the communities of Redhead, and again firefighters are well placed and are working on securing containment with that fire, and the alerts have been issued in that location as well. We have 5 Watch and Act fires, being the Minmi fire, which is burning up near and adjoining the western edge of the M1 motorway. I understand the southbound lanes have been reopened on the motorway, but there is still a lot of fire activity, firefighting activity occurring on the western edge of that freeway. Firefighters have done an amazing job there as well in holding that fire on that western edge, and there's still many hours of work to try and bring that fire completely under control. The fire near Roman Terrace continues to be at Watch and Act. No immediate threat to anything, but still some work going on to secure that. And of course we've got the Mount Victoria fire and the State Mine fire burning across the northern extremities of the Blue Mountains region, adjacent to the Bells line of road down towards Bilpin. We have seen today, and indeed building throughout this week, one of the most significant threats to the Blue Mountains and Hawkesbury communities that's unparalleled. Never before have we seen the extent of damage and destruction and wide-scale fire activity at this time of the year. It's indicative of the unseasonably hot, dry conditions that have been building now throughout winter and into spring, and we need to remind ourselves that we've still got a long way to go as we look down the coming months into summer and the period of the bushfire danger period for New South Wales. We've seen that threat to the Blue Mountains and the broader Hawkesbury community averted today. We've seen it averted because we've seen the best of skills on display, taking on board decisions and actions, weighing up all their options and embarking on some very deliberate, some very measured, aggressive and high-risk strategies. Those strategies, fortunately, have paid off. But they couldn't do that without the extraordinary unity of purpose from the emergency management community, but most importantly, the communities, the people, the mums and dads, the kids that found themselves in and around these most at-risk areas. I sincerely appreciate the extraordinary work of everybody involved and everybody that was threatened by these fires over recent days. Having said that, we do need to take stock of and remind ourselves that as we speak, there is a lot of very dangerous, there's a lot of very difficult firefighting occurring and communities under direct threat. That's why we still have emergency warnings in place. That's why we still have 5 Watch and Act fires burning across New South Wales. And we've got more than 67 other fires down to advice level. We are publishing in the next hour or so a list of schools that will be the subject of closure tomorrow, but they are targeted across the most at-risk areas in the Blue Mountains and Hawkesbury community areas. The wide-scale nature of school closures today will not continue tomorrow, simply because the risk for those areas will not be as widespread and certainly will not affect the broad area of the Blue Mountains community, particularly along the Great Western Highway. I would also add that in the next hour or so, if you've been someone that's chosen to depart the Blue Mountains today and head to Penrith to relocate, have a cup of tea and be out of harm's way, then it would be safe to head back home tonight because the risk has been averted. The qualifier on that is we still have an active fire burning in and around the Springwood, Winmalee, Falconbridge area, and whilst it's not posing any immediate threat to the Great Western Highway, we do need to be mindful that should that situation change, there may be some disruption to the Great Western Highway as a thoroughfare back to more upper areas of the Blue Mountains. What we have seen and what we continue to see is a positive, measured, decisive response from the community to deliberate and targeted messages and warnings, and I would ask that this continue, because there is still a very real risk. There is still a deal of firefighting activity going on right across these fire grounds. Having said that, we also need to point out the fight is far from over. Whilst we are seeing a moderation in the severe and extreme fire danger ratings experienced today right across areas tomorrow, what we are seeing is a dry change move across these fire-affected areas tonight, with a turning to more southerly wind influences, but they will be dry. It'll be a dry change, there'll be dry winds, and there'll be strong winds. The indications are that they'll be 40, 45 kilometres an hour, gusting 70, 80 odd kilometres an hour for most of tomorrow. That is going to present some real challenges for these fire grounds, for these firefighters, and for people that live or work north of the current active fire grounds. And whilst we'll be doing more assessments throughout the night, and indeed as the day unfolds tomorrow, communities that would obviously be the subject of some focus would include down in the Winmalee, Springwood, Falconbridge area, communities to the north and the east, such as the Yarramundi Valley, Grossvale, Grosswald. They're all areas that are potentially in the path of any outbreak of fire should that occur tomorrow. We're also talking about the area of the Bells line of road, right along from Bell through Mount Tomah, through Barambing, right up to Bilpin, and indeed places like Mountain Lagoon and a little further eastward along the Bells line of road. We will continue to be monitoring and reassessing and advising should conditions change and risks present in relation to potential fire spread in that regard. So that's where we're at this time today. Many hours of firefighting still to come, many hours of concern for those that are living in these fire-affected areas, but the broader risk to a much larger, more widespread population has certainly eased and is certainly a lot better than where we're sitting here last night.